Big Business Barcelino, aka Admiral Kizaru, versus the ruler of Totland and now dethroned Yonko, Charlotte Linlin, aka Big Mom. I wanted to make this video because I've seen plenty of people talk about these two going head to head with each other, and some of the takes I've seen have just been horrendous in my opinion. Full disclosure, I do not care about the Admiral versus Yonko debate. Genuinely miss me with that BS. If you call me an Admiral or a Yonko meat writer for any of my opinions, I genuinely do not care. Personally, I'm under the belief that for top tiers in One Piece, most characters are relative to each other and fights very much depend on matchup and the overall abilities of each character. Most fights with these characters going head to head will be high to extreme death in my opinion, with a few exceptions. Meaning, I don't think all Yonko are equal to each other, I don't think all Admirals are equal to each other, and I don't think every Yonko beats every Admiral and vice versa. I just labeled the Yonko and Admiral tiers of power as top tiers. There's people who aren't even classified with these titles, and they are undoubtedly within the same upper echelon of power. And with that being said, let's get on with the matchup and why Big Mom is not going to have a good time. Right out of the gate, we're diving into Big Mom's Conquerors Hockey. There's a solid portion of the fanbase who just think if you have Advanced Conquerors Hockey, you just automatically beat characters without it. Without question, Advanced Conquerors Hockey is one of, if not the best power-up in the entire series. And yes, Big Mom is a user of Advanced Conquerors Hockey, but that isn't an auto win for her. Her only showing of it was against base Kaido and page 1. If she hits Kizaru with her Advanced Conquerors Hockey, yes, I think she is doing solid damage to him, but not at all to the point where he is getting one-tapped or unable to continue the fight. Not all Conquerors are the same. We've seen plenty of times when people get hit with Conquerors Hockey and don't get immediately one shot. Green Bull tanked Yamato's AC attack and continued the battle. Odin took a divine departure from Roger. Regardless if Roger was suppressed or not, that's still Conquerors Hockey from the Pirate King himself. Law and Zoro took Hybrid Kaido's Thunder Baga and were still able to continue fighting during the raid. In the case of Kizaru, I think he's for sure able to take Big Mom's Conquerors Hockey attack if she lands it, simply because he was able to continue fighting after taking the White Star gun from Luffy. This is the same move that dropped Kaido to his knees and made him need to take a small break to recover, confirmed to be using armament and Conquerors Hockey by Kaido himself. Kaido is one of the strongest Onis in the entire story, with just his base durability being way above average compared to most of the verse. Stack that on with his mythical Zoan Fruit and it only gets higher. The fact that Kizaru only needed a short time to get up as well while being a normal human is impressive. The only way you can say Big Mom puts down Kizaru with her AC is if you think her Conquerors Hockey is stronger than Egghead Gear 5 Luffy, which is a stretch because that would also suggest that Big Mom's Hockey is above Kaido's as well, seeing as Luffy overpowered Kaido's Conquerors Hockey in their final clash against each other. Egghead Luffy is blatantly in better condition than in Wano, and like every other main fighter of the Alliance, has gotten considerably stronger post Wano. The fact is, Kizaru was never knocked out from the White Star gun and was able to continue fighting all while being off his game the entire time at Egghead. Again, if Big Mom lands her AC, then yes, it's going to hurt Kizaru, but not to the point he gets one-tapped, which leads us to our next topic, speed. Not even gonna sugarcoat it, Big Mom is getting dusted. Her speed at best is average and at worst is well below the other top tiers. The fact that she couldn't react to getting pushed off the roof is bad, and she gets outpaced by both Kid and Law multiple times during their battle while she is amped in her Soul Focus form, which is also not good. In comparison, Kizaru straight up bullies Snake Man Luffy. I've seen some people say Luffy was tired from fighting the Seraphim, but that isn't true at all. Luffy had a whole night of rest and he is seen eating before the fight with Kizaru. We know Luffy's strength and health recover from eating food, so he wasn't fatigued from the Seraphim at all, which they didn't even do a lot of damage to him in the first place. It was a war of attrition. The fact that Kizaru drastically scales above Snake Man Luffy puts him in another dimension when it comes to speed. Just a reminder that Hybrid Kaido needed to use Future Sight and his drunk modes just to keep up with Snake Man. There's nothing Big Mom that has that puts her remotely close to Kizaru's speed. This should be a fairly well and accepted take. This is probably the one section Big Mom blatantly excels at over Kizaru. Kizaru's just a normal human. Not normal like fodder, but normal in the sense his durability doesn't have a special X factor like Big Mom, who basically all her life has had high durability compared to most of the verse. Base to base, she was able to fight Kaido for 3 days without sustaining any significant injuries. She took numerous attacks from Kid and Law in and out of base. She's able to take 2 shock willies and a puncture willy from Law and 2 damn punks from Kid. It's just a fact that she can take a lot more punishment. In comparison, Kizaru doesn't have any big durability or endurance feats to his name. I believe he is somewhat relative to Aokiji and Akainu, seeing that they are his contemporaries. It's true he wasn't operating at 100% during Egghead, but I think at 100% he's probably able to fight for multiple days against a relative opponent. That seems to be very consistent for most top tiers. But if we're just working with what we have, Kizaru's durability and endurance isn't on the same level as Big Mom's. In my opinion, this really is the deciding factor. Big Mom's soul attacks are her main bread and butter. They're 100% packing a punch, but not to the point where any of them are one-shotting any of the other top tiers, considering that both Kid and Law took numerous named soul attacks from her while she was in base and in her soul focus form. Finding out she can amp herself with soul focus is a good buff to her overall stats, and knowing she can use her own lifespan to give herself some minor regen is honestly a great perk for her. In contrast though, I think Big Mom is getting hazed by Kizaru. With his normal powers alone, his speed is just an automatic hacks, as he's blatantly above Snake Man, Luffy, and Kaido using Future Sight. Luffy needed Gear 5 to close the speed gap, and he was still getting outsped by Kizaru. We've seen Whitebeard at Marineford try to land an attack on Kizaru, but was too slow, and ended up getting shot by him immediately after dodging. Not to mention, Kizaru's attacks were just blatantly more lethal than Kid's are, just from being light base. With sheer brute force, Kid was able to injure Big Mom multiple times with just a bunch of scrap metal, confirmed by Kid himself. So this shouldn't be controversial unless you think lasers and lightsabers are less threatening than a bunch of scrap. And because of Egghead, we learned that Kizaru was being a massive troll at Marineford, because we found out that this man can spawn clones. We don't know the upper limit of this technique, seeing as Kizaru just used it to distract Luffy, but it's a fact that he can spawn 8 clones of himself minimum, and these clones are capable of injuring Gear 5 Luffy. Meaning, in a straight up fight, Big Mom would have to deal with 9 individuals drastically faster than her and are capable of delivering solid damage. She was already having trouble with 2 people, so 7 more individuals makes things a problem. Granted, the clones seem to be glass cannons, so if she's able to land attacks on them, they should go away. It's true that she can use her soul regen to heal damage that isn't too severe, but it comes with a cost, seeing as she would have to expend her own life force, so she can't spam it altogether. In a one-on-one match with both characters trying to bring the other character down, I think Kizaru has to remain wary of Big Mom's Conqueror's Haki attacks. If she can land it, she can do solid damage to him that will make things worse if they end up accumulating over time, seeing as both Luffy and himself grew tired from clashing against each other over the course of their battle. Big Mom, on the other hand, has way more to worry about because of Kizaru's speed and hacks. She has better endurance and durability than him, which will be the main reason why she stays in the fight for long, as well as her regen. But if she's unable to get consistent damage on Kizaru due to the ginormous speed gap and clones, this battle will essentially be death by 1,000 cuts. Big Mom will eventually be whittled down and beaten. There's 2 outcomes depending upon interpretation of the stats. If one believes the huge speed gap is too much of a factor, then this fight is honestly mid-diff. On the other hand, if you think that despite the huge speed gap, Big Mom is able to last long due to her high durability and endurance, then I'd say she loses high diff. Realistically, I don't think it's impossible for her to land strikes on Kizaru, but it's very unlikely. On the chances she does, Kizaru can't afford to let the damage accumulate over time. Even while cornered and about to lose, Big Mom is still a threat. And with that being said, that's it. Do you agree or disagree? Do you think Big Mom wins just because she's a Yonko with Conqueror's Haki? I'd like to hear other people's takes on this as well, and any matchups you'd like to see in the future. With that being said, I hope you have a good day and take care. Peace.